So last class, where did we end? What was the last? We talked about activity of the heart. Okay. Had any questions in what till what we discussed in the last class? No? All clear? Okay, great. Alright, so today we're going to start a discussion on coronary heart disease. First, let's talk about the possible causes of your CHD. Possible causes. Okay. Firstly, you have diet. Very important cause is your diet. All right. And why is it? Because see, if you're taking a diet full of fat, full of cholesterol, sorry, second. Okay. If you're taking a diet full of fat, full of cholesterol, what will happen? Your arteries will be blocked. Okay, they're gonna be there's no flow of blood, obviously, because they can't find the way. Okay, atheroma will be deposited. Okay, high levels of cholesterol are also more likely to cause heart attacks. Okay, and that can be more dangerous. And then you will have to, first they will do angioplasty. Okay, you'll have to put a stent, either do balloon angioplasty, you put a stent, or maybe you might have to go undergo your coronary bypass as well. All right. Okay. Secondly, then you have stress, because obviously stress obviously causes, raises the blood pressure. And your blood pressure will be raised, what will happen? Obviously, it will go and hit your arteries with more pressure, and that will cause them to bulge. Okay. And if they bulge, obviously, then platelets will come and deposit at that place, and obviously thrombosis and all of that can occur. Okay. All right. Thirdly, you have your smoking. Yes, let's take smoking. So, we're going to talk about this in the breathing chapter as well, a gas exchange chapter as well. But basically, your carbon monoxide in your cigarette smoke causes damage to the lining of the heart. And again, atheroma will form, and that will cause damage to your lining of the heart. All right. Okay. Now, let's talk about the fourth factor. One second. Okay. Your fourth factor is age and gender. Then I have, obviously, as you are growing up, and like it's not like at your age, okay, but I'm talking about after you cross like 50, 45, 50, because body is also machinery. Okay, and the more you use it, obviously it's gonna get worn out, right? So obviously, as you age, there are chances of developing coronary heart disease increases. Gender, yes, women basically are at a lower risk of developing coronary heart disease until women reaches menopause. Menopause is basically your end of menstrual cycle. Okay, when a woman reaches the age of 45, we have a hormone that is called estrogen. We will discuss in the reproduction chapter, inshallah. Estrogen basically protects the lining of the heart and does not to cause development of prevents development of CHT. Okay, after 45, you can develop CHT. So in females, there is a safe period until unless they achieve menopause. Okay. Then you have lack of exercise. Obviously, lack of exercise, and they'll obviously, if you're eating a bad diet, like diet full of fats, cholesterol, not exercising at all, okay, obviously they'll deposit and cause you to have a high risk of developing CHT. Okay. Last is your genetic predisposition. So some people basically naturally have either weaker arteries, okay, or maybe they have a history of blood pressure and all, in their families, or they have history of heart disease as well. Those people obviously who have higher chance, they will obviously have who have a background will have higher chances of developing CHT. Is this clear?
Yes.
Miss, you mentioned
Yes.
atheroma, something like that. What's that?
Yes. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll draw it and show it to you. 1 second. See, if this is your, let's say this is your artery. Okay. And this is your artery. Okay, let's say fat starts to deposit here. Okay. So, firstly, you have development of fatty material. Okay. Atheroma is your fatty material basically. Okay. Fat, cholesterol. It's also called as plaque. Okay. So this fatty material when it starts to deposit, it's called atheroma or plaque. Okay. This then when platelets also come, because obviously when blood is continuously hitting over here, this artery will start to bulge. Okay, it will start to come out, and when something abnormal happens, obviously your body responds to it. Okay, antibodies come, platelets come, then it develops into atherosclerosis. That's your disease of the heart. Okay, so atheroma is nothing, just your fat deposition, fatty material, buildup of plaque. Okay.
Okay, Miss.
Yeah. All right, great. Anyone else? Any questions?
Miss, how does stress affect the possibility of CHD?
See, when you have stress, your blood pressure will stay high, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So, in the delicate arteries of the heart, your coronary arteries, okay, blood is hitting a lot with high pressure continuously, okay. Sometimes it's okay, that your heart is used to. Continuously, it will hit with high pressure. Artery structure will get bulged, okay. Again, platelets will come and deposit, okay, and it will put pressure on your heart, strain on your heart. That can cause coronary heart disease because of high blood pressure. That's why people who have high blood pressure, they are told not to take stress. Or people who have heart disease are told not to take stress because it can destroy their arteries furthermore, okay, and can, destroy the heart. I mean, not destroy the heart, obviously, but, later lead to other serious heart diseases. All right, they can hit heart attack and all. All right, is this clear?
Clear.
Anyone else, any questions? All right. Now let's talk about treatment of coronary heart disease. So treatment of heart disease, coronary heart disease, basically. Simplest treatment is regular dose of aspirin. Aspirin is basically a blood thinner. It contains salicylic acid. You don't need to remember the salt, but and basically aspirin, it prevents the formation of blood clot. Okay. Then obviously if your matter is a bit serious, okay, then you will either go your angioplasty and stent. Firstly is aspirin. Second you have angioplasty and stent. Okay. So this basically involves insertion of long thin tube that is called catheter into the blocked or narrowed blood vessel. Okay. And wire attached to a deflated balloon. Okay, and then fed through the catheter to the damaged artery. Okay. Now if it's less blocked, then obviously balloon can be used. Okay. Then you go to the blocked artery, the point where your artery is blocked. Okay. Inflate the balloon. The artery, opens again. Okay. And then the balloon is pulled out. Okay. Blockage is freed. But in severe cases, you will use a stent. Okay. So stent is basically a wire mesh tube. Okay, that can be expanded and left in place. Okay. It does not cause infection because it is made of a material that is suitable. Okay. So it will then act as a scaffolding, keeping the blood vessel open and maintaining the free flow of blood. Same method is used when it is fed through a wire. Okay, when it reaches the place of your blockage in your artery, it will be like placed there and the wire will be taken out. Okay, stent stays there. Is this clear? Third, if your lost case, then you bypass surgery.
Is it extent or stent?
Stent, STENT. Okay, anyone else? Any questions?
Miss, I didn't really understand this, the angioplasty thingy.
Okay. See, there are two types of angioplasty: balloon or stent. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, for example, they basically, enter it through your femoral artery. Femoral artery, it's an artery in your leg. Okay, because it's a large artery. Okay. So they
Yes.
basically take a wire, okay, and insert it. It's to the camera, okay, and it has balloon on top of it, okay.
Okay.
And then when it reaches the part where your artery is blocked, okay, with the camera you can see, okay, they inject a dye as well, okay. With that you can see where because it's black and white, you don't have colors inside the body, right? So they inject the dye, and the point where the dye is not reaching, that is the point of your blocked artery, obviously. Okay, so they will take this guide wire with the balloon, reach that point where the artery is blocked, okay, and then inflate the balloon at that point, and then remove the balloon because then your blockage is freed. Okay.
How does inflating the balloon remove the position?
I'll
of
show you. 1 second. I'll have to show you with you. 1 second. There's a good video on angioplasty. Let me show you. 1 second. It's a quick animation. It will clear your concept. Just give me a minute. Let me just search it on YouTube. Angioplasty. Animation. I hope it has both balloon and let's see if this has the balloon one as well. Okay. This is from your femoral axis. All right. Here.
Animation is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community with thousands of inspiring.
A coronary angioplasty procedure is also known as percutaneous coronary intervention. The procedure is done on blood vessels called coronary arteries. They supply your heart muscle with oxygen. The goal is to restore blood flow if a substance called plaque has significantly narrowed these vessels. To begin the procedure, the doctor will numb the skin in your groin. A needle will be placed through your skin and into the femoral artery. Next, a flexible guide wire will be passed through the needle into your artery. Then, the needle will be withdrawn. It will be exchanged for a small, flexible tube called a sheath. This permits access into your artery. You may feel pressure when the doctor inserts the sheath, but you will not feel it moving inside your artery. Next, the guide wire will be advanced up to your heart. A flexible tube, called a catheter, will be advanced over the wire to your coronary arteries. The progress of the procedure will be checked with an X-ray device called a fluoroscope. At this point, your doctor will remove the guide wire. Then, the doctor will move the tip of the catheter just inside the coronary artery to be examined. A special dye will be injected into the artery. This allows your doctor to view it better with the fluoroscope. The dye will make any blockages in the artery stand out. If a significant blockage is found, your doctor will insert a guide wire into the artery. A balloon on the tip of the catheter will be moved along the wire to the blockage. When the balloon inflates, it will expand the artery and improve the blood flow. You may feel some
Okay, see, this is how you inflate it, and this is what happens. Can you see? Now when you will remove it, look at
chest
it now.
discomfort while this is happening. After this, your doctor will deflate and remove the balloon.
Right, now see, now it has stayed
A
there.
wire mesh
This
tube
is when
called a stent may be placed in the treated area. The stent helps keep the coronary artery open. Your doctor will choose the proper size stent, which is compressed over a balloon. The stent will be moved into the artery over the same guide wire. When the balloon is inflated, the stent will expand and lock into place. After the balloon catheter is taken out, the stent will stay in place to hold the artery open. At the end of the procedure, the guide wire will be removed. To find out more about coronary artery angioplasty,
Alright, is this clear? So yeah, now
Yes.
does it make sense? How does this happen?
Yes, thank you, miss.
No problem. Rest of you clear? This was a good video. I wanted to show it to you, but she asked the question, so I showed it to you right now. Clear, rest of you? Ahmed, Ibrahim, Umar,
Yes, ma'am.
Ayla.
Does your artery stay that way or does it resize to its original shape?
See, it depends. After a certain time, if you don't improve your lifestyle and diet, and don't stop eating cholesterol, fatty food, and then you are gonna need it again. Okay, it's gonna relapse. Otherwise, it stays. Okay,
Yes.
clear. Okay, then I'll show you another
Okay.
bypass as well. Bypass is also very simple. Okay, now if your case is very bad, okay, no stent can be placed. Okay, there is no possibility. Then surgeons basically remove a section of your blood vessel from a different part of your body, usually your leg. Okay, and then this blood vessel is attached around the blocked region of the artery, and that basically allows your blood to bypass. Or I'll show you a video on that as well, so that it's clear on how does that happen. 1 second, I'll show it to you. On how does this exactly happens. Because you use another part of your blood vessel here. Look at this very carefully. We're gonna skip the parts that are not important.
or cabbage.
Okay, here.
This video will help you understand the steps of coronary artery bypass graft, or cabbage. This video will help you understand the steps of the procedure and how it restores blood flow to your heart. A coronary artery bypass graft, or cabbage, is performed to improve circulation to the heart muscle. In this procedure, a healthy artery or vein from another part of the body is connected or grafted to the blocked coronary artery. The grafted artery or vein bypasses the blocked portion of the coronary artery, carrying oxygen-rich blood to the heart muscle. One or more coronary arteries may be bypassed during a single operation. Before the surgery, an intravenous line will be started and a breathing tube will be inserted through your mouth and generally takes 3 to 6 hours. During a conventional bypass surgery, your surgeon begins by making an incision in the skin over your breastbone or sternum. He or she will then cut the sternum and move your rib cage in order to get to your heart. Throughout the procedure, your circulatory system may be connected to a cardiopulmonary bypass pump or heart-lung machine. This machine may temporarily perform the functions of your heart and lungs during the surgery, allowing your heart to be stopped if desired while the surgeon sews the grafts into place. Different blood vessels may typically be used for the grafts. The internal thoracic arteries in the chest, also known as internal mammary arteries, or the saphenous veins in the legs. For the internal thoracic artery graft, your surgeon will leave the upper end attached to the subclavian artery and divert the lower end from your chest wall to your coronary artery, just beyond the blockage. Your surgeon will then sew the graft into place. For the saphenous vein graft, your surgeon will suture one end to the aorta and the other end to the narrowed artery, just beyond the blockage. With the graft securely in place, your surgeon may use electrical signals to restore the heartbeat and attach a temporary pacemaker to the heart. Once your heart is again beating normally, if the surgeon used the heart-lung machine, it would be disconnected. Your surgeon will wire the breastbone back together and suture the skin incision closed. A temporary drainage tube will be placed through the skin beneath the incision. When the surgeon chooses to do the surgery without using the heart-lung machine, the heart continues to beat. This may be referred to as off-pump bypass surgery or minimally invasive surgery. Instead, a mechanical device is used to steady the part of the heart where the grafting is being done. Surgeons perform.
Okay, so this is a lot beyond your scope. It's not for you guys. Okay, you understand the part, like what exactly happens, right? Main part is that they take a blood vessel from somewhere else and then they use it to bypass your blocked artery, right? And then it bypasses that artery and goes through the part that the doctor just attached. Is this clear?
Clear.
Ma'am, how does the person stay alive when the heart is stopped?
They just put the person on bypass. That heart lung machine that is doing the function of the heart. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
they put you on bypass. Yes. Rest of you, any questions?
Yes. So
Yes,
basically,
sir.
they will take an artery or whatever from another part of your body, and then they will put it where that part of the where there is
The
accumulation.
blocked part, where the blocked part is, they bypass it at that point. Yes.
Yeah. So the blood will not flow in the other artery.
Exactly. Yes, because that is blocked. How will it flow in that?
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Brahim, Ida, Ahmad, any questions? All clear? Okay, great. Now let's talk about your blood and lymphatic vessels. First, we'll talk about arteries, veins, and capillaries. And then we'll talk about your lymphatic vessels. Okay, yes. So, yeah, that's all. And then we shall have red blood cells and white blood cells. Oh, what? Okay, no problem. Yeah, let's cover your blood and lymphatic system, or lymphatic vessels. You have blood and first we have arteries. Arteries are white vessels. They carry blood away from the heart to the body. Okay. They are white vessels and carry blood away from the heart. All the arteries contain oxygenated blood. except for pulmonary artery and umbilical artery. Except for your pulmonary artery. And umbilical artery. Okay. Right, so these two carry deoxygenated blood, rest of them all carry oxygenated blood. Okay. Now, arteries basically have elastic tissue and muscle fiber in their thick walls and divide into smaller vessels called arterioles that further divide into capillaries. So they contain elastic tissue and muscle fiber. Into arterioles, which further divide into capillaries. One second, let's reshare my screen. Give me a second. Okay. Second, you have capillaries. Okay, so they are one cell thick, you know that. Okay, they have diameter of approximately 0.001 millimeter. Walls are, 1 cell thick. They are very permeable, so they allow some liquid to pass through as well. Okay. They are one and permeable as well. Okay. Now, blood pressure in capillaries forces part of plasma out through the walls as well. Okay, this will then, form your lymphatic system. I'm so sorry, power went out, so I lost connection. I was saying that it's very dense network. Okay, so that no living cell is far from your oxygen and food. And I was saying that your capillaries join up to called venules that then basically combine to form veins. Okay. So they have a very dense network and reach every cell. Capillaries join up to form larger called venules. Larger vessels. Combine to form veins. And talking about veins. So veins are these were with wide vessels, they are narrow. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, don't really talk about their diameter and all. Second. Sorry, arteries are not wide. Sorry, why did I write wide here? They are narrow vessels. Sorry. Veins are wide vessels. They're narrow because they need to basically maintain your pressure at high pressure, right? That's why they have thick walls, narrow lumen. Sorry. Okay, they are wide vessels that carry blood away from the heart. Sorry, towards the heart. Sorry. They are wide vessels. Blood towards the heart, basically from your body. Okay, blood pressure is steady as it is, like your and it's like far and not far actually. I would say that since they have you know to carry blood from body tissues to the heart, so it's stable. Okay, and it's less as compared to arteries because see, in arteries, blood is coming from your aorta. Aorta pumps blood with a lot of pressure. Like I think twice, 3 times, 4 times more pressure. Okay. So arteries need to withstand that pressure. Veins, they are collecting from body tissues. Okay, there's no pressure at all. As in, coming from the body tissues. Obviously, there'll be pressure when you're collecting all of the body's blood. But point is that it will not be with that force. All right. Okay. And blood in the veins is deoxygenated except for let's change this. All veins carry deoxygenated blood except for pulmonary vein and umbilical vein. Same statement, just changing the oxygenated to deoxygenated. You have a pulmonary vein and umbilical vein. Oh yes, because there's something wrong. It keeps coming and going. Pulmonary vein and why is this? This is because of the fact that your respiratory tissues they have used oxygen and food and blood. Clear? Any questions on arteries, veins, and capillaries?
Miss,
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat your last statement again? Because maybe because of the internet connection, I couldn't hear it.
Sorry, I was saying that all veins are getting oxygenated blood, and why is that? Because see, they're coming from respiring tissues, right? So respiring tissues upon the food molecules, glucose basically, and have used oxygen for that, right? That produces carbon dioxide. This is why your blood coming clear.
Yes, yes.
Okay, rest of you, any questions? Yes, Saad, Umar, Ibrahim, Ayla, Ahmed.
Clear, ma'am.
Okay, now
Miss, why do pulmonary artery and umbilical artery carry deoxygenated blood?
system is that way. Carrying, opposite bloods. They are the only two exceptions. Okay,
Clear.
okay. All right. Now let's talk about tissue fluid. Okay, because see, if you look at the heart as well, right? So your arteries, pulmonary arteries, coming from that part that it's going to the lungs, right? So it will carry deoxygen blood so that it can go to the lungs and get oxygenated again. Okay, it's just made that way. Okay, no, I don't think there's any scientific reason for that. I don't, as of now, no, I don't think so. I can't. I don't think so. There is. So it's except okay, tissue fluid. Before I start, please down. Okay, I forgot to give you time to write down. Coronary heart disease, right? Okay, note this down quickly. Alright. I'll wait another minute and then move on. Are all of you done?
I'm done.
Umar, Ayla, Ibrahim, Ahmed,
Yes, ma'am.
Ibrahim, Ahmed. Okay. Tissue fluid is the fluid running between cells and blood capillaries in a tissue or an organ. Cells and blood capillaries in a tissue or an organ. Okay. Now if I tell you difference between tissue fluid and blood plasma. Blood plasma basically has high number of proteins, whereas there is very less to no protein present in the tissue fluid. Obviously, because it's coming from your space between the capillaries. You think protein can literally come over there? Okay, not because no, because why? Protein is a large molecule. Capillaries are 1 cell thick. Role of blood plasma is to carry oxygen, whereas role of tissue fluid is to transport nutrients from blood to cells. Okay, so they can ask you a question on 2 marks, 3 marks, basically on the differences between blood plasma and tissue fluid. And blood plasma. So tissue fluid has little to no protein present. And blood plasma has large number of proteins. Has a large number of proteins. Tissue fluid transports nutrients from blood to the cells. Nutrients blood to the cells. Whereas your blood plasma carries oxygen. When it transports oxygen, whatever. Okay. Talking about lymphatic system, very important. Then you have your transfer of material between capillaries and tissue fluid, arterial shunt vessel, and then red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelets. We cannot finish it today. We'll finish it tomorrow, inshallah. Okay, lymphatic system. So you know that not all tissue fluid basically returns to the capillaries. Some of it basically enters your blood, ended thin walled vessels that are called your lymphatics or lymphatic vessels. Okay. So lymphatics basically form all parts of the body, from all parts of the body. Okay, they join up to make two large vessels which empty their contents in the blood system. Okay. So lymphatics from all parts of the body. Lymphatics also mean, the lymph vessels, lymphatic vessels. All parts of the body. Join up to make two large vessels. Into the blood system. Okay. Firstly, you have lacteal from the villi in the small intestine. Lacteal from the villi in the small intestine. Lacteal from intestine. They basically join up with the lymphatic system. Join up with the lymphatic system. So most of the fats absorbed into the intestine reach the circulation by its route. Okay, we talked about this in the human nutrition chapter. Alhamdulillah. Most of the fats absorbed into the intestine. Absorbed into the intestine. Reach the circulation by this route. Circulation by this route. Then fluid in the lymphatic vessels is called lymph, you know that, okay, and it is similar in composition to tissue fluid. There are also valves in the lymphatics to ensure one direction flow. To ensure one directional flow. Okay. At certain points in your lymphatic vessels, there are also swellings. At certain points, there are swellings called lymph nodes. So lymphocytes are stored in the lymph nodes. Are stored in lymph nodes. And released into the lymph. And are released into the lymph. To eventually reach the blood system. Okay, so if bacteria enters a wound and is not, ingested by WBCs or the lymph, they will be carried in the lymph to the lymph. WBC present there will ingest them. Okay, so these lymph nodes also form part of your body's defense mechanism against the infections. So lymph nodes are also, they form part of the body's defense system. Okay, so the fluid that is, escaping, or that is neither blood nor plasma, rather it is tissue fluid. We have talked about this earlier as well. Now, this fluid basically bathes all living cells of the body, and since it contains dissolved food and oxygen from blood, it supplies the cells with their needs as well. Okay. Now, some of the tissue fluid eventually seeps back into the capillaries as well. Okay, when it gives up its oxygen and dissolved food to the cells. But some of it has received the waste product of the cell. When it's your carbon dioxide waste product. So the tissue fluid doesn't return to the capillaries, joins this lymphatic system. Some of it goes back, and rest of it which is left, then joins your lymphatic system. Okay. Last thing for today is your arterioles, shunt vessels, and venules.
Miss, before you continue, I
Yes.
didn't understand. Like this tissue fluid is the
Uh-huh.
lymph, this lymphatic system. It's part of this.
See, tissue fluid is basically the fluid that is coming from the capillaries. Okay. Now, some of it will carry, oxygen, and when it will give it to cells, okay, it will gain back carbon dioxide. So now obviously it has to go back into the capillaries because now it has to do exchange, right? Now it gave up its oxygen and glucose. It will go back into the capillaries. Now the part that does not basically go back into the capillaries, that becomes part of your lymphatic system, basically enters your lymphatic vessels. Okay, is this clear? So,
Yes.
sure. Okay, I think let me show you a diagram bit. Tissue fluid. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, this is a good one. Let me just copy it and then show it to you. Okay, look at this. Oh, not this. Astaghfirullah. Sorry. Yes. Look at this. This is, why is this so blur? 1 second. Copy it again. It's blur again. Astaghfirullah. See if I can find another one. I don't. This looks fine. Let's see this. Yeah, this thing's okay. Look at this. This is a lymphatic vessel. Whatever is seeping out, because blood capillary has pores in it. Okay. That are called fenestrations. Okay, you don't need to know that. So basically, fluid that is seeping out of it, it's called your tissue fluid. Okay. At this
Yes.
point, whatever is seeping at this place. Now, since this has oxygen and glucose, it will give it up to cells. Cells will take it, oxygen, glucose, and what will they give back? Carbon dioxide. And whatever is not being taken up by cells, okay, whatever fluid seeps out from here, that will enter your lymphatic vessel and form lymph. Is this clear? Basically, your capillary has pores that are called fenestrations. That is through what your fluid is escaping, right? Otherwise, how can it escape from something opaque, right? There has to be some pores, right? You guys agree?
How do the fats get absorbed in this lymph?
If fats are coming from lacteal. Lacteal is absorbing them. Lacteal then joins up and comes in your lymphatic vessel, forms lymph. It's coming from lacteal in the villi.
Okay.
Alright, yes. Anyone else? Any question? Now this is what exactly is happening and how exactly is it happening. Yes. Okay, note this down. We'll start from our arterioles, shunt vessels, and venules tomorrow, inshallah. Okay, note this down. Rest of you, any questions? Umar, Saad, Ayla, Ibrahim,
No, ma'am.
Saad, clear?
Clear.
Right, so I hope you understand the process. Okay, great. And Ibrahim, sure you're following everything, all good, all clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I hope you understand what exactly happens in your lymphatic system. Okay, how is it formed? What exactly happens, right? You have high pressure blood, obviously, coming from arterioles into your capillaries. Okay, when exchange has to take place. Okay, so whatever is seeping out of there, that is tissue fluid. Okay, that basically gives up oxygen and your glucose. Okay, to the cells, they give back carbon dioxide, and whatever seeps through that becomes part of your lymphatic vessels or lymphatic system and forms lymph. Clear up till here? Any questions? This chapter is quite long. Tomorrow, inshallah, we are going to start from arterioles, shunt vessels, and venules, and then we're going to talk about components of blood, RBC, WBC, and platelets. So we'll be done with the chapter tomorrow, inshallah, and we will start off with chapter 10 then. By tonight, also, I will upload the test. Okay, and you need to solve that. Right, so are you guys done?
Ma'am, when will you upload the test?
Yes.
By tonight, inshallah, after my classes, okay?
We have to
Okay, ma'am.
submit by today.
No, by tomorrow. I gave you one day. Why will I ask you to submit it today? Tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, great. Okay, then, so if there are no further questions, you guys are done. I will then see you tomorrow, inshallah. I have another
Allah
class right now. Allah Hafiz.
Ma'am, can you
Allah
please
Hafiz.
zoom
Yes,
in
Umar.
on the last
Allah
diagram?
Hafiz. Yes, Allah Hafiz. Here, Umar. This is carbon dioxide. Sorry. Carbon dioxide will be coming out.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Ibrahim, done?
Yes. Office.
Alright. Allah Hafiz.